DarkZero's first bank basement setup against G2. Heavy first floor control. Goyo and Smoke for late round plant denial. The structure is good, but the fallback gets punished. Alright, let's break down this defensive setup. Starting with Goyo. He first opens a standing rotate towards red, and then creates another rotate towards CC. Around CC and Vault, he starts setting up his Goyo canisters. He reinforces the wall towards garage, barricades the door, and then places another canister down near main stairs. And that main stairs canister is very important here. If the attackers try to pressure main stairs or clear below, Goyo has a clean way to shut that down and slow the hit. His fourth canister goes in front of Vault. After that, he opens up parts of the wall to create long lines of sight. During the round, Goyo mainly plays around lockers and holds the long angle. And with the impact still in pocket, he also has the option to deny the plant, or swing aggressively if the attackers start committing to the execute. Next up is Smoke. Smoke reinforces one wall towards server and opens both hatches. Then he places his barbed wire on main stairs and near the tunnel entrance. He wants to hold blue stairs, contest server, and survive long enough to rotate back for the execute. He actually gets a kill directly on blue stairs, which is exactly what you want from this position. But the important part is not just getting the kill. Smoke needs to stay alive, because later in the round, he is supposed to fall back towards gold and use his toxic babes for plant denial. And this is where the setup starts to break. Smoke tries to rotate back, but gets picked from garage. That death is huge, because without Smoke, the defenders lose their strongest piece of plant denial for the final execute. Now let's look at Azami, because her setup is one of the more interesting parts of the round. Before she goes upstairs, she places a Kiba barrier downstairs in front of the drone hole, blocking vision into Vault lobby. Then she moves to the first floor and starts building her kitchen position. She places barbed wire near printer window, reinforces towards kitchen, barricades the door towards electrical, and adds more barbed wire there as well. She also reinforces the walls next to electrical, and the two walls from kitchen towards square. Then she opens the lower part of the wall towards printer and uses a Kiba barrier to give herself playable cover in that direction. So this is not just a random kitchen hold. Azami is building a position where she can contest printer, stay protected, and still fall back once the pressure comes in. Her job is to make the first floor clear as annoying as possible, without dying for free. Later in the round, she rotates back to site. And after Smoke dies, she basically has to take over the gold position. Next is Valyrie. Valk places one cam in garage, one in server. She creates a rotate between admin and archives and reinforces the vault hatch. Her third cam is in lobby. She then roams around the first floor, close to lobby and main stairs. Later in the round, Valyrie rotates back towards open, but she does not fully drop back to site. Instead, she stays above and holds the angle onto the default plant spot through the hatch. Now let's look at Vigil. Vigil's setup is more straightforward. He reinforces both hatches on the second floor towards open, and then plays around archives. His job is to make the top floor clear annoying. He does die before the late round, so he cannot really help during the final execute. So if we zoom out, this setup is very clearly built around first floor control. The defenders are investing a lot into kitchen, server, blue stairs, main stairs, and lobby. Azami is responsible for the kitchen hold. Smoke is responsible for blue stairs and server. Valyrie and Vigil support the roam game and give the attackers more to clear. And Goyo stays closer to site, setting up the canisters and long angles for the late round. The structure makes a lot of sense. The attackers first have to deal with the roam. Then they have to clear kitchen. Then they have to deal with server and blue. And only after all of that can they actually start thinking about the execute. That's the main strength of this setup. It gives the attackers multiple layers to deal with before they can plant. Around 1 minute 30, the fallback starts. At this point, Vigil is already dead. Smoke tries to rotate back. Azami also comes back to site. And Valyrie stays above, to keep the angle onto the default plant spot. This is the key moment of the round. In a setup like this, the fallback has to be clean. You want to waste time, But you cannot lose your key operators while rotating back, and that is exactly what happens here. Smoke gets killed from Garage during the rotation, and that completely changes the final execute. And Smoke is the main piece you want alive when the attackers start planting. So why did the defenders lose this round? I don't think the setup itself is the problem. The idea is actually really solid. They have strong first floor investment, good info from Valyrie, Goyo utility for the late round, and a clear plan with Smoke playing for plant denial. But the fallback gets punished. Vigil is already dead. Smoke gets picked while rotating back from Garage, and that is the round-changing moment. Once Smoke is gone, the defenders lose their main plant denial. Azami tries to fill the gap, and Valyrie still has the vertical angle, but the final setup is just not as strong anymore. So the setup almost works. The structure is good, the idea is good, but losing Smoke before the execute gives the attackers the space they need to force the plant. And that is why this round slips away.
Attempt again. J90 living on borrowed time. He has to be a little careful about the engagements he takes. Kino goes up. Can he shut Ali Mao down? Not in the nick of time. He does get the kill. Shaiko trades it right back. The Frenchman looking for a 4K. He and Stomp and